is where rock fans go to voice their opinion on all things rock. True Nation.
I'd never seen anything like it. The rock people were just crazy.
With host Eddie Trunk.
Very personable. It made me feel so special for calling in.
Sirius XM Faction Talk.
Welcome back, live from Los Angeles today. Eddie Trunk, Trunk Nation, here on Sirius XM Faction Talk 103, live daily, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Tomorrow we'll cover the Dio documentary. Wendy Dio will be here, as well as the co-director Demian Fenton, and the big premiere of that is tonight at Man's Chinese, which I'll be attending, and we'll cover all of it tomorrow with those folks in the studio, and then we'll cover the re-release of the Anvil doc on Thursday from here in LA as well. Steve Vai finishing out the show with me. I promised the audience a chance to ask Steve a question. We'll do that right now. We'll jump in on the phones at 844-686-5863. Here's Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, guys. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Joe.
I just want to thank you so much for all that you do. You know, I was a high school kid in '86 at Hampton Coliseum in Virginia. I saw the Eat 'em and Smile show. And to this day, it stays in my head. It was, you know, the album is classic, but the show in and of itself, that performance, it was something you'll never forget. The battle between you and Sheehan, that guitar battle you have.
There's some footage, Joe, let me jump in real quick. There's some footage of that in the documentary, and you've seen some footage. Man, you guys were like... It was physical. I mean, you're throwing guitars and spinning and moving. I was tired just looking at the two of you.
Yeah, me too. I was looking at that saying, who did we think we were? I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I was like, did we really do that? Did we put that time and work in to make it like that? But we did. But I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
So two things. One is, I got back to high school with the shirt on. And in Virginia, there was a contingent of Deadheads, right? So, like, right away, the Deadheads, like, yo, you went to that show, you got to listen to more Vai. It's like, and he says, tomorrow I'm bringing you something. So he brought me Man from Utopia. And then I got all into you and all that you do. He's like, yeah, he's like 17-year-old kid. He sent a cassette to Zappa. So my questions, two questions quick. One is Zappa, and this is my opinion, Zappa and Dave share a sense of humor about, you know, they're very serious with their work, but there's this crazy, zany sense of humor that you collaborate so well with. Zappa had his thing kind of down when you joined. Dave was kind of just, just growing like a flower, and you were right there. So do you feel when you did the Eat 'em and Smile album with Dave, did you feel liberated? Did you feel like you were basically, quote unquote, no pun intended, unchained, and were able to go all free without having to be cautious with Zappa's project at all times, and with Dave, sort of, did you feel freedom? That's my first question. Second question is, that crazy show, do you have any regrets with all the bodily injuries, just doing all of that stuff to your shoulders?
He's paying for it now, I think, probably. We covered.
Well, let me think about it. No. Well, you know, with Frank, it was a whole different focus. You know, when you're on stage in his band, your full attention is on Frank at all times. The audience is like peripheral, you know. But with Dave Roth, it was learning how to, you know, engage 20,000 people. And he was a great mentor for me when it came to that. But what was the other part of the question? Sorry, Joe.
The shoulder.
The shoulder. Do I regret?
Do you regret doing all the athletic stuff with Roth?
No, well, no, because when you're doing it, you're just. I suffered the consequences back then because with Dave, I had neck surgery and back surgery. I actually had a disc taken out of my neck at one point, and Uncle Dave Roth did it. Dave's uncle. He was a neurosurgeon.
That's right. He comes from a phase.
Yeah, his Uncle Dave, man, he saved my life. You know?
Wow. And you got a deal on it then.
I did.
You got a discount.
I did. But no, you know, when you're young like that and you got the space, and Dave he just pushed you to be the best you can. I had no limitations. Yeah, that was the question. Did you feel chained or unchained? And with Roth, it was you be the best you can be, and then you want to be better. You know, you want to put out, because, and there is a sort of a similarity that I gravitated to in their sense of humor, you know, because I've got this quirky kind of side, and Frank has his, and everybody knew Dave has his, you know. There's something intense and disciplined, but really zany in a sense sometimes. And that was me. So we fit in great.
Did you feel any sense of competition, the band, or did you feel anything from Roth at that time versus the Van Halen world as they were out with 5150 and Sammy? Was there was there some feeling of competition even under the surface a little bit between the two bands?
Well, it's impossible to avoid that stuff. Yeah. I was more like an observer of it all.
Yeah.
You know, but of course, there's going to be, you know, I wonder how the other guy's doing without me, or
looking at the box scores.
I think they both had that to some degree.
I would think.
You know, Dave never really, he didn't really show it much. He was focused on what we're doing and how we're going to go out there and just blow up the bridge. You know what I mean? That was his focus.
Did you have much of a relationship with Eddie Van Halen?
For a period, I did. The day after I had left Dave's, actually it was that night, and I didn't even know how he could possibly have found out, but Edward called me and wanted to see me. So I went to his house, which was not far from where I lived, and we actually struck up a very nice friendship for a while. You know, we hung out almost every day.
Really?
Bit, yeah, and we talked a lot, and he came to my house. I go to his house. We played softball.
This was just after Skyscraper.
After the tour, after I had left the band.
Right.
But we were very different kind of people, too. So, you know, it was a very nice kind of a short-term hangout, and then we just went our...
Did you ever play with him?
Yeah. One time at Frank's house. With Frank.
That's not recorded, is it?
No.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. It was great.
Oh, my God.
And then one time I was in my studio and I was recording something. I had my guitar, my gear, my studio, my house, and Edward comes in and we're just talking, and he's sitting next to me and he goes, yeah, I worked on this, check out this. And he grabs my guitar and he started playing it, and damn, it sounded just like Edward. I was like, how dare you sound like you on my gear?
I was going to say, who should it sound like, right?
Yeah, right? I figured, well, it might sound a little bit, nope, nothing like me. And I've had that kind of experience a bunch of times.
Well, Ted Nugent told me that, because Nugent took out Van Halen, like, on their first tour.
Yeah.
And Nugent, they were the opening act, and Nugent said that who the hell is this guy playing? He went out and he saw Eddie Van Halen playing, and then later on, during a sound check or something, he went to try to play one of Eddie's guitars through his rig and was completely flummoxed. And then Eddie went to play Ted's Birdland and was completely and he's just like...
That's like beef yogurt or something, you know? It just doesn't mix.
So they couldn't, figure out what eats the other. Like, how the hell are you playing that? Well, how the hell are you playing through that?
Yeah, no, that's happened so many times to me. I mean, when I first moved out here and I was in the Rainbow, like one of the first times, Brian May was at the bar. I couldn't even believe it. And I was just new in L.A. I was a 20-year-old kid. And I went up and I started talking to him, and he was so kind. He invited me to a Queen rehearsal the next day.
Wow.
You believe that? And I went down there, and I got to see Queen rehearse. Freddie and everybody. But there was the guitar.
The one,
you know, and I couldn't believe it was the guitar. I said, is that it? You know, and he goes, yeah, you want to play it?
Oh.
And I'm like, do I want to play it? You know, and I went up to it and I picked it up, and to my chagrin, it did not sound like Brian May. You know, it sounded like Steve Vai, and it was a hard guitar to play. And it was just so opera special.
Life. I mean, he built it. Right, yeah, it's a producer on it. And it aired. Like, their guitar village is loading in on Damn. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh, like there it is, you know? It's just, so you had these guys that were like 20 guitars each.
Yeah.
And there's Brian May coming in with one guitar.
With the red
That's
special.
all it needed.
Yeah.